In this section, we're going to talk about Salesforce Maps user experience. In this segment, we're going to talk about Salesforce Maps on desktop. And we're going to focus in two areas primarily. Number one, identifying available features of the Salesforce Maps user interface. And number two, explaining key differences between routes and schedules. So let's start by acquainting ourselves with the Salesforce Maps on desktop. Users can access Salesforce Maps by selecting the Maps tab or navigating to the Salesforce Maps tile from the app launcher. Once selected, let's start our tour to the user interface. The left toolbar and navigation menu provides access to the following tabs: Layers, Routes, Schedule, and List. Once the Layer tab is selected, the following options are available. Number one, Recent, which displays up to 5 recently plotted layers and any layer set to plot on load. Number two, Saved, which provides access to folders, subfolders, and layers. Some users may not see personal and user folders. Access to both are controlled in the Salesforce Maps configuration menu. So under Saved, we have three options, which is Personal Folder, which contains private folders and layers unique to an individual user. And then we have User Folders, which contains personal user folders and follows the Salesforce role hierarchy set forth in your Salesforce org. And then number three is Corporate Folders, which is a public folder. Access to subfolders are controlled by folder permissions. Now number three is On the Map, which displays all layers currently plotted on the map. Number four, Search Saved Layers, which allows for search for any layer by name. Number five, Layer Type, which displays all layer types that can be checked or unchecked. Number six, which is New, displays layer creation options once a folder has been selected. The other three tabs are Routes, which displays the new routes or can be used to view and edit saved routes. Then we have Schedule, which displays new scheduled events and can be used to view saved Salesforce calendar events. And then List, which provides a list view of any plotted marker layers. If plotting marker layers as a list, plot a marker layer or multiple marker layers and select the List tab. Each marker layer displays as its own tab in the list view at the bottom of the map. Routes and schedules, as we can see, were both designed to help users plan efficient customer visits. So how do you determine which tool to use? There are three functional ways routes and schedules differ. Schedules sync with the Salesforce calendar to display calendar events and let users add new events. Routes do not create Salesforce calendar events. Schedule requires all appointments to have a start and end time. Records added to a route don't require scheduled start and end times, but appointment times and duration can be optionally added. Schedules lets users optimize up to a week of appointments at a time. Routes allows users to optimize up to a day of appointments at a time. So users should consider these differences when determining which feature they would like to use. Map toolbar options. As you can notice, the toolbar has additional icons, which include, number one, My Position. My Position plots your current position. Then, Zoom to Fit. Zoom to Fit adjusts the map zoom level to display all markers currently plotted on the map. Number three is Home. Home sets your default map view or lets you go to your default view. Number four, Map Types. Map Types displays different map tiles types such as ESRI Street, ESRI Typography, ESRI Imagery, Google Road, Google Terrain, Google Hybrid, and Google Satellite. The system default tile can be changed in the Salesforce Maps configuration menu. Number 5, weather. Weather lets users display different weather overlays. Number 6, show traffic. Show traffic plots real-time traffic data. Number 7, move the map. Move the map lets users change the map view by dragging the position of the map. Number 8, polygon. Polygon lets users draw a free-form polygon. And number 9, circle, which lets users draw a circle on the map through click and drag functionality. Number 10, rectangle, which lets users draw a rectangle on the map through click and drag functionality. Number 11, point of interest search. Searches points of interest, records in marker layers, and records in Salesforce. Searching features are controlled in the Salesforce Maps configuration menu under Global Search Settings. And finally, number 12, Setting Gear icon. And the Setting Gear icon manages default settings for routes and schedules, list view, and Salesforce Maps data. As we travel down the right side of the map, there are a few more options. Number 1, Pegman Street View icon, which allows for drag and drop functionality to Google Street View. Number 2, Zoom Control Navigation, which allows us to zoom in and out of the map. And then number 3, Full Screen View, which displays a full view of the map without the toolbar and left navigation menu. This completes our tour of the user interface. In our journey of exploring Salesforce Maps on desktop, let's look at some common Salesforce Maps use cases. And so now we're going to focus on 2 things. Number 1, identifying available features of the Salesforce Maps user interface. And number 2, explaining key differences between routes and schedules. In this section, we're going to examine common Salesforce Maps use cases. And we're going to focus on 3 areas. Number 1, automation of user processes. Number 2, interacting with plotted data. Number 3, creating routes and schedules. So let's introduce in this scenario Candace, who is a sales rep at the retail store Lovely Course. Throughout this unit, we're going to look at a common use case for sales users based on Candace's experience. But Salesforce Maps isn't just for sales. It can also be used by anyone interested in making business decisions using location intelligence. So here are a few examples. Candace meets her manager to discuss Salesforce Maps features that can help her increase productivity, stay organized, save time, and consequently increase revenue. Her manager suggests she must familiarize herself with Salesforce Maps. He shows her how to automate some processes and demonstrates how to use Salesforce Maps. Excited about what she will learn? Candace is ready to start. So we start with automate processes. Hoping to save time, Candace starts by automating some mapping processes. Candace's territory consists of 1 state, which is North Carolina. She wants a zoomed in view of territory when using Salesforce Maps, so she enters North Carolina in the search bar and then changes the map zoom level to display a complete view of her territory. Now she selects and chooses Set as Default View to set the current map as her default view. Next, she selects the Corporate folder on the left side. A Sales Team subfolder appears and contains 2 marker layers. The first one is My Accounts without events in the last 90 days, and then the second one is My Open Opportunities. Rather than plotting these marker layers each time she uses Salesforce Maps, Candace sets them to load automatically by clicking the 3 vertical dots next to each layer and selecting Toggle Plot on Load. Candace tests her automation by refreshing her map. Interacting with markers. The map automatically loads with a view of her territory and both marker layers plot. The opportunity marker layer has a legend that displays map markers as different colors based on opportunity stage. Candace decides to plan visits only to her opportunities in the prospecting and qualification stages. She unchecks all visual markers in the left side panel and then selects the checkbox to both prospecting and qualification. Now she can start planning her week in Charlotte, North Carolina. She begins by using the point of interest search bar to zoom in on that area. Candace then clicks the marker to view more information, including the account name, phone number, and opportunity amount, probability, and stage. She calls the account Acme Software, sets up a meeting for Monday at 10 a.m., and edits the probability field of the opportunity to 90%. Then she clicks the Actions tab and clicks Log a Call under the Activities section where she enters notes about her call. Next, she clicks New Event and creates a new event for her scheduled meetings on Monday at 10 a.m. Feeling excited about her progress, she clicks Add to Route under the Action section and starts creating her route for Monday. Remember that markers can be viewed as pins on the map or as a list view. If plotting markers as a list, plot a marker layer or multiple marker layers and select the List tab on the Maps toolbar. Each marker layer displays as its own tab in the list view at the bottom of the map. After adding the marker to a route, Candace draws a shape around the other account markers in the area and uses mass actions to add them all to the route. All selected accounts appear on the left side panel under the Routes tab, and since Candace has one appointment, she toggles on time-based routes. Next, she enters the time of her appointment and sets the duration to 1 hour. She doesn't have any other appointments for that day. She sets the duration for all other stops as 30 minutes and selects Optimize. Salesforce Maps return the most optimal way to get to each stop, as well as the length of time it takes in traffic and miles driven. Candace saves her route and follows the same steps to create a route for additional days. When creating routes, here are some answers to commonly asked questions. Questions such as number 1, can you set your home as your default start and end location? And the answer is yes. Create a favorite location and select the settings gear to add your favorite location as your start and end location. Another question commonly asked, can you add an airport or hotel to your route? And the answer is yes. The third question, how can you add a meeting time and duration to a route? And the answer is yes. Toggle on the time-based routes and enter meeting time and duration. As such, Candace completes her routes for the week and starts planning for the following week. Schedule. The following Monday, she scheduled meetings with out-of-town clients as events in her Salesforce calendar. She wants to see these scheduled meetings on the map so she can add additional meetings where there are gaps. In this case, she would use the Schedule tab to view her calendar events. After selecting the Schedule tab, she selects the date she's traveling. Now her meeting displays in the Schedule view. As such, she uses the calendar to select the week view. Candace has 2 scheduled meetings on Monday, but no other scheduled meetings scheduled for the rest of the week. She selects Map My Schedule to display her route for Monday on the map. She notices a number of gaps between her meetings. She clicks Some Nearby Markers, calls each account, and schedules additional meetings. Under the Action tabs, she clicks Add to Schedule for each additional meeting, and they display in the unscheduled queue of the schedule. Next, she drags each account to the meeting time in her schedule for Monday. Once her Monday schedule is complete, she turns her attention to Tuesday. Once her Monday schedule is complete, Candace turns her attention to Tuesday. Her flight home doesn't leave until Tuesday evening, so rather than working in the hotel lobby for the day, she decides to schedule some meetings for Tuesday. So she puts a shape on the map around opportunities between the hotel and airport and takes the following steps. Number one, right click in the shape, select Mass Actions, then select Add to Schedule. Number two, in the unscheduled queue, she clicks the T radio button for Tuesday, and then number three, select the Add to Schedule button. All unscheduled accounts populate on the schedule under Tuesday. She makes adjustments by dragging accounts to different time slots, then selects Map My Schedule to view her route on the map. When satisfied, she clicks Save, and her meetings are automatically saved as events in her Salesforce calendar. Candace is thrilled about the time she saved planning efficient routes and schedules. Not only that, Salesforce Maps can also guide her through her daily appointments right from her phone. Now we're going to examine interacting with Salesforce Maps on mobile. And we're going to focus on 4 areas. Number 1, executing routes on mobile. Number 2, finding account based on GPS location. Number 3, execute schedule on mobile. Number 4, prospect and add records to Salesforce Maps using Click to Create. We've already been over Salesforce Maps to plan and save efficient routes and schedules. So now let's look at how you can execute your plans on a mobile device and use location intelligence to save time and increase revenue. Salesforce Maps can be used to access on a mobile device in a number of ways, including number 1, Salesforce Maps mobile app, number 2, Salesforce mobile Lightning app, and number 3, Salesforce browser. Routes. As we've seen, Candace used Salesforce Maps on a computer to create routes and schedules. So now let's look at how she executes these routes or schedules using Salesforce Maps on her smartphone. Imagine it's Monday morning and she's ready to start her work day. She selects the Salesforce Maps app on her smartphone and logs in using her Salesforce credentials. She taps the routes icon and selects a saved route for Monday. Once the route has loaded, she taps the map icon at the bottom of the phone to view her route on the map. Candace then selects the first stop on her route and tabs Take Me There. She chooses the mapping application she wants to use for turn-by-turn directions and saves it as her preferred application. Anxious to get started, Candace jumps in her car and follows the directions to her first destination. When she arrives, she opens her Salesforce Map app and taps Check In to log this client visit in Salesforce. During the meeting, Candace reviews inventory and discusses a new product line with the store manager. Before leaving, she schedules a follow-up meeting with the manager for next month. Her meeting was a success. Now she can enter notes and log her next steps in Salesforce. Sitting in her car, Candace opens Salesforce Maps. She taps Check Out to mark her meeting task as complete and then uses Talk to Text to enter her meeting notes. Since she scheduled a follow-up meeting, she tabs New Event and creates an event in her Salesforce calendar. She then taps the second stop on her route, gets turn-by-turn directions, check in and out, and logs her activity. She follows this process as she visits each stop on her route. She completes her final visit 2 hours before the end of her workday. Prior to Salesforce Maps, she drove to the closest coffee shop and entered notes each visit in Salesforce. She would also search for accounts or opportunities in the area and hopefully have enough time to visit at least one more before heading home for the day. With Salesforce Maps, she's already saved time by logging her activity in Salesforce each visit. Let's see how she can also save time and increase her productivity by searching for nearby accounts. Finding surrounding accounts. Candace uses marker layers to plot nearby accounts and opportunities. She limits her search results to a 10-mile radius from her current location. Once she determines which accounts to visit, she could add them to her route. But instead, she selects each marker, taps Take Me There for turn-by-turn directions, checking in and out, and logs her activity from within Salesforce Maps mobile interface. By the end of the day, Candace added 3 additional stops to her previously planned route. Using location intelligence to find nearby accounts increases her number of visits and saves her valuable time. Schedule. The Schedule tab can be selected to execute routes for scheduled events in your Salesforce calendar. Remember, the key differences between routes and schedules. Number 1, schedules sync with the Salesforce calendar to display calendar events and lets users add new events. Routes, on the other hand, do not create Salesforce calendar events. Number 2, schedules require all appointments to have a start and end time. Routes, however, don't require records to have a scheduled start and end time, but appointment times and duration can be added. Number 3, schedules allow users to optimize up to a week of appointment at a time. Routes, on the other hand, let users optimize up to a day of appointment at a time. So by default, schedule shows the events for the current day, but you can change the day by using left, right arrows, and then tap Map My Schedule to display the events on the map view. So Candace in this scenario uses routes and schedules with Salesforce Maps. The schedule pulls in any upcoming meeting on the map. It also lets Candace take advantage of the same features previously discussed, such as turn-by-turn directions, logging activity, and adding, removing, or updating appointments as needed. When she encounters a cancellation or a change in schedule, she plots a marker layer to find and visit accounts within a specific radius. Click to create. At this point, Candace is proficient when using Salesforce Maps on her smartphone. She successfully found nearby accounts within her Salesforce org, but now she would like to extend the mobile functionality by prospecting with Salesforce Maps. Candace asked her manager if she can use Salesforce Maps to prospect and add leads to Salesforce using the Maps mobile interface. It helps to ask questions. Her manager explains that this can be done by using a Salesforce Maps feature called Click to Create. Excited about this additional feature, she decides to test Click to Create. And sure enough, the next day, a scheduled appointment takes less than the expected. So Candace has a few hours before her next appointment. She uses the search bar to conduct a point of interest, POI, search for all shoe stores in the area. After tapping the Maps icon, her search results appear on the map with corresponding images, for example, a shopping bag. Next, she plots the all accounts and all leads marker layers to see if the POI search results match records already in Salesforce. Records in Salesforce appear as pins on the map. She taps on a shoe store that is not showing as a record in Salesforce and calls the store to schedule a meeting. After collecting information about the store, she taps the Click to Create button and adds it as a lead in Salesforce. Now, that was easy. Once entered as a lead, Candace follows her company's sales process to convert these leads into opportunities. So Click to Create can be configured to add records for any objects in Salesforce, including standard and custom objects. In this exercise, we have followed Candace as she's used Salesforce Maps to plan effective routes and schedules. then executed those plans in the field. As we can see, she saved time by logging activity directly from the Maps interface. She also increased her potential to close deals by using location intelligence to find nearby records and prospects for leads with Click to Create. Now you can apply these use cases to your business and use location intelligence to increase your productivity and meet or exceed business expectations.